It's Maddie.
And Dylan, this is Accepted, what they don't tell you.
And today we have Amy, who happens to be Dylan's best friend from home.
I don't have friends.
Your best friend.
That's, really rude.
Yeah, that's extremely rude to say while she's in front of you, but okay. So Amy's here with us today. We're going to ask her some questions that people might want to know. But Amy, let's introduce you. So, where did you go to college and stuff like that?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
That's her intro.
I'm, so excited to, do this. So I first went to college at Liberty University. It's a private Christian school. I was, really into, going to youth group, which I'm all about the Jesus life still. But, I decided to leave that school after a year. It's really expensive, and some of the things that they did there I was, not a fan of.
All right, time out. What school is that?
Liberty University.
And what's the mascot?
It's an eagle.
Can you make that noise right now?
Do
it again. Do it again if listeners weren't listening.
I don't think that's what they do.
What does an eagle do? Do it again.
Did I do that?
Do it.
Cuckoo!
Kyle, that's your girlfriend.
Well, nice try, Amy. I liked it.
All right. So you were at Liberty for a good 10 seconds, and
yeah.
so you transferred.
I got the experience of being away from home, which was awesome. That is one thing I missed.
Liberty's in Virginia,
It's
right?
in Virginia, yes.
So
point that out. It's in Virginia. My mom hated me going there. 8 hours away. Little birdie flying away from home. But it was awesome. And then I transferred back home afterwards for my second year. And it was good and bad at the same time. I feel like the school I ended up going to was a state college. William Patterson, if you're listening, ended up kind of screwing me over. I was originally trying to go in for education, and I don't know if this is because it was a private school or if it was because it was a school in Virginia. I'm not sure how it works out, but in New Jersey, you can't really start majoring in what you want to do until you're at least 60 credits in.
Oh.
So, you can't take, if you're, education-wise, I couldn't start taking those classes until I was 60 credits in. Where in Virginia, if you knew what you wanted to do, you could start off right away.
Oh, see, when we talked to, Lindsay previously, who is Dylan's sister, she also was education.
Yes.
And she did mention how so she's a junior now, that she just started doing, education, specific classes.
Yeah.
So I guess that would make sense then, 60 credits.
So when I transferred, I had already had some education classes under my belt, but they didn't accept those as, they kind of took them as, the extracurricular classes.
That sucks.
Yeah, so it was kind of, annoying. It was a waste. And then I had to work my way up to the 60 credits because I was only a sophomore. I had the GPA for it, but I didn't have the credits for it. Afterwards, someone put me in a class that I didn't need, and it was, a biology class meant for, pre-med majors.
Oh, my gosh.
Excuse me. And I ended up ruining my GPA.
Oh.
And so years afterwards, I was still trying to bring up my GPA just to get into the education department. And I just recently graduated now in May with integrated math and science and no longer education. Woohoo! Completely changing my career path now. Not planning on being a teacher anytime soon. It's way too difficult to go down the alternate route path. True. Way too much money. And as a teacher, you don't make enough money. So all that work I put into being a teacher, all that experience has now gone to waste. But I'm positive about it.
Well, that's a good outlook.
Somewhat. Still trying to find a job.
And so why did you originally decide that you were going to transfer colleges? Is there, a specific reason?
There was a few reasons. One, the college itself is so expensive, especially compared to schools here in the States. In the state that you live in.
Yeah, it's true.
So much money. Plus, it was a private school. So on top of being out of state, it was a private school. And there were a lot of things that happened because it was a private Christian school. They were strict about certain things. And there were some things that I know they just had some controversial stuff come out about the president of the school. But there were some things that came out that I kind of understood. It was very, I don't know how to put it, but it was kind of as Christians, we get seen as kind of getting that bad view on us sometimes where, we're better than you. And unfortunately, there were some people who were like that. But But I personally am not like that. I met a lot of people that were not like that either.
Mm-hmm.
And we still, yes, we were Christians, but we still went out to parties. Yeah. We still snuck out. If anything, going to a private school, like, I didn't really have to lie very much when I was at home. Mm-hmm. But going to a private Christian school, I lied so much.
Which is kind of like
to the room advisors, to the RAs. You had to, like, sign out.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were going to sign out for the night, it had to be to, like, a married couple's house.
Oh, my gosh. Really?
And they would call that night and make sure, like, you were at a married couple's house.
That is so
You
weird.
had to be back in your room by midnight, and on the weekends it had to be back by, like, 12:30. If you were, like, a minute late, they would, like, fine you. You had to go to these things called convocation, which is, like, a big meeting for everybody who, like, lives on campus.
Yeah.
At, like, one location. They make it sound like, oh, my gosh, yeah, like, these people get to choose that they want to go here. No, we had no choice, because if you didn't go, and if you didn't have a doctor's note, you had to pay a fine.
Oh my god.
Everything was, like, very, like, money-oriented, which I understand. College is a business.
Yeah, but that's super strict.
It kind of took, like, the whole point of, like, I came here because of, like, the background behind it. Because of, like, it's a Christian school. It's private.
It takes, like, the fun out of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, like, I feel like in that aspect, I didn't get, like, the full fun time. Like, I still went out to parties and stuff, but it was nothing like other people's college experiences.
Yeah.
And then transferring to school where I now commuted was so different because I went from being a part of a community to now when you commute to school, unless you're like a part of clubs, you're not really doing anything.
Yeah.
And you're going from there and back home. And I also worked.
So that's a lot of time. Like,
so it was like a lot of work, school,
yeah,
all that. Forth. Yeah. So there wasn't much time for that. So it's like you make friends in classes, but then the next semester they were gone. Like, where were they?
True.
So it is what it is. It's all right.
Well, you kind of make school, I guess Christian school, sound like prison. So for all the listeners,
like that.
For all the listeners, actually,
it's just very different.
It's very different. Very
like
different.
A state school. So,
I don't like the way that they ran their stuff. Yeah.
For our listeners that actually go to college, appreciate it. So you said you.
So Liberty's still a college.
It is a college. It just sounds a lot tougher.
It was, but since I've left though, they now allow you to like wear leggings. You're allowed to wear leggings now.
Allowed to wear leggings.
Yeah,
that's a step in the right direction because it's always the boys' fault.
It is. We're not allowed to tempt our brothers in Christ, is what they told us.
Okay, just get some dark glasses. So you said you transferred to William Patterson.
Yes.
So how was it making friends? How did you do that? Especially working a job, you said.
Like in classes and stuff like you said.
Especially too, like when I first transferred, I also had a boyfriend at the time.
Oh.
And so, you went from being long distance now, so I'm okay, I can see you all the time. So it was making time between school, work, boyfriend, that it also became like, well, why am I going to make time to see people that I don't know, that I didn't start out here freshman year? So I made friends like within classes, but never really.
So you never really hung out.
Last year I actually did though. I feel like once I became single again. It was during the time. So while I was in college, had a boyfriend. Also had a breakup time where I was single for a period of time, and I think that time too really allowed me to meet other people, go out, hang out their dorms, go out with them, make new friends. So I did. It's more of the staying connected more after the semester is over. So, like, I had friends that even though I had met them in one semester, I kept them in the year after. But now that I'm graduated, I know them and, like, I'll see them, but we're not like, oh, do you want to hang out?
So now that you graduated, how many friends would you say you've made or, can text right now to meet up at a bar?
From college?
Yeah.
Maybe one.
Which I feel
or
like
two.
Is still,
like a few. But not like I feel like I've kept in contact with like all the time. Like I don't know what's going on. But like if I were to come down and be like, hey, like do you want to catch up and like hang out? Probably like two of them, yeah.
So I guess if you did not go to commuter school, do you think it would have been easier to make friends in the whole process?
I think it would have been easier I think it was easier to make friends when you live at a school. Because you're kind of put in the atmosphere. You don't have anywhere else to go most of the time. I mean, obviously you can have a car, but like when you're forced to be put in that atmosphere where you have roommates, you have clubs that it's easier to get access to. I mean, when I was living on campus in Virginia, you couldn't have a job as a freshman, and I also didn't have a car, so I couldn't even get a job off campus. So my life was campus. everything was campus.
Mm-hmm.
So it was easier for me to have friends. And those friends I still have. Those friends, those friends from, even Virginia, I still have. Like, my best friend was one of my roommates. We talk, like, at least 2 or 3 times every week.
That's pretty good for that being your first year.
Yeah, but
college.
Commuter school, where I saw them all the time, totally different. No,
That's crazy.
Shout out to Brittany.
Oh.
So, did you enjoy your freshman year, I guess, at Liberty?
Yes and no. It was yes, because I got away from home.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there were some things going on at that time, so that made it a little bit difficult. But other than that, like, living on campus, it was a lot of fun. It was a different experience. I think the things that I didn't enjoy about it were just things I had heard about the school while being there. Just, like, rumors going around, like, I don't know if you really want to go into detail about it, but, like, one student I had heard who was, like, friends with one of my roommates.
Yeah.
He was 21, and you weren't allowed to have alcohol, even if you were 21 on campus.
Yeah.
And he had bought a thing of alcohol that he was bringing home that weekend to his family that they had asked him to buy. Mm-hmm. And something happened where the RA had gone through his bags or through his drawers or something and found it.
Whoa.
And reported him to the school where he got kicked out. He was already planning on leaving, so it didn't really affect him. But he got kicked out for the school for being 21 with alcohol on campus. There was another situation that I know of where there was one of my friends from the class lived on another part of campus. We had prayer leaders, and so every week, there was one time a week where we would meet with these people. It was like a support group is what it was. It was pretty much like help you like through college and like kind of like be like a guidance to you. But they called it prayer groups. And so this one girl who was a prayer leader on her like floor in her dorm went to her RAs and said, look, I don't feel comfortable being a prayer leader and standing in this position of leadership when she felt guilty that at that time she was sending nudes to her boyfriend.
Oh.
And she felt guilty about it. And so I felt like, wow, like that's a big thing for like you to go and like to admit to someone and like, hey, I can't sit here telling this person all this advice when I'm doing this. So she went and told them, and instead of them being like mature about it, they forced her to show them the pictures.
Oh my God.
They took the pictures and showed them to like student council, took them to like the board at the school, told them about it. And then they called her parents at home and like she didn't end up talking to anybody. She was embarrassed. And I asked my friend, I was like, how did you even know about this? She said that the RAs were going around telling people.
Holy crap.
So things like that, where that like what I said before, the holier than thou type thing.
Yeah.
That's some people, not everybody, but some people were like that on campus.
That is crazy.
Also, I don't know if that's so much, it's not always about being away at school. That was more, I guess, because it was a Christian private school.
Yeah, that was more specific.
Yeah. Right.
Understandable. Because, like, also, I know our campus, now being Thomas Jefferson, is considered a dry campus.
Is it really?
Yeah, like, I know Philadelphia University, which it originally was, until it got bought out, was a wet campus. You could, like, if you were 21, you could buy it.
I didn't know that.
I wonder, like, does the 21 thing still apply, like, if you're 21? And you buy on our campus and somebody finds it, like, is that still going to happen, like, at any campus?
That's ridiculous.
I know, like, I wonder if, I haven't heard of anything like that happening, so I don't even know.
I'm like, I'm 21, or even then, like, they would call my parents and say, oh, she missed a meeting with, like, her advisor. When I had class at the time, I'm like, I'm 18, 8 hours away from my house.
Yeah.
Don't call my parents. You can call me.
Well, the point of college is to, like, be on your own, so I don't even understand.
It was bizarre.
Like, everything should be, like, if you skip a class, if you skip something you know you need to do, like, that's on you. It's not on anybody else.
And and then you go to a state college, you're like, all right, fine, don't show up. I get paid either way.
Yeah, I know. They don't care. So
if anything, they lead you in the wrong way to keep you there longer to get more money.
Yeah, I know. You're like, want to do graduate school? Want to do this? Load it in. Give me more money.
Yeah.
Sounds rough. Sounds like the TSA was looking through your crap.
Yeah.
So
it felt like.
You mentioned someone named Brittany. Was she one of your roommates?
So technically she wasn't in my direct bedroom. She was like a suite mate. But yes, she was.
So your roommates, how did you find them? Are they your friends, you know?
So I found them I think it was through there's like a quiz that you do. Mm-hmm. To find your roommate that I guess every school is different. My school at the time had a quiz that you would do to pair you up with roommates depending on how you answered the questions. They would ask you questions about, like, how clean do you like to be, you know, how neat you are, what kind of, like, room do you like, that type of thing. My room that I had, my bedroom, had 2 other people in it. So there was 3 of us. And then we ended up meeting each other on Facebook and messaging them. And at first I was like, oh crap, this is going to be terrible. Now one girl, I think she was from Ohio, but she was like close to like the Kentucky border. So she was really country. And then the other girl, what's up, Taitlin? And then the other girl was a pageant girl, and I loved her to pieces too. And her name is Emily. She's actually now getting married to like her sweetheart. So super happy for her. But I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in there with some random girl I don't know. And then this other girl who's a pageant girl, like, that was who I was most nervous about. I was telling anybody about this pageant girl. I was like, she's so gorgeous. I mean, she is the epitome of, like, this tall glass of water, blue eyes, blonde hair, perfect makeup, like, pageant girl. And so smart. And I was like, how am I going to do this? Like, especially leaving high school, you're so self-conscious about yourself already. Yeah. Then to be put in a situation where you're, like, stuck in a room where, like, this person is so perfect. Yeah. Like, what am I going to do? And honestly, I still have embarrassing videos of her to this day. And
blackmail?
Yes. That's the only thing. I don't really keep in contact with those roommates as often as I feel like I should. Just because afterwards, when I transferred, I stayed connected with Brittany, and then the other girls, they ended up all moving in together off campus afterwards. Okay. And they had already planned that before the year was over. Mm-hmm. So that was another thing too. When I went, I knew if I was going back to that school the next fall, I'd be going back there by myself to again make new friends, because all of my other friends were moving off campus to live together. So that's how they all stay reconnected. I still have them like on Instagram and Facebook, and today's actually one of my old roommates' birthdays, so I wished her a happy birthday. But Brittany, I have definitely stayed connected with. I go down and visit her all the time. She lives in DC now.
So for all the guys listening, are you gonna share the Instagrams?
No, they're all taken, and they don't want any of those.
So you had a boyfriend when you were rooming with them, correct? I
got my boyfriend at the time while I was in college. So it was probably, we had met during winter break when I went home for Christmas. And then we were like talking while I was in the second semester.
So did he ever visit you at college or no?
No.
Or did one of them have a boyfriend? It wasn't
technically like official at that time.
So did one of your roommates have a boyfriend at the time?
Yes, she did. But they had been together since, that's the one who's getting married now. They had been together since they were like, little.
Forever.
Yeah, since they were like in middle school.
Okay.
And he was really cool. We used to hang out with his friends and stuff. Yeah.
And I assume since it's a hardcore Christian school, he couldn't sleep over, right?
Nope. There was no boys allowed in the rooms. There was, during one day, during a certain hour span, boys and girls were allowed in each other's rooms. The doors had to be open, and RAs would walk in whenever they wanted to.
Oh my god.
And that was right before finals week.
Well,
so
it was really weird. It was really weird.
It was so weird.
Well,
I thought that was the normal until I heard everybody else's college experiences.
Yeah, it's not like that at all. You don't have to leave the door open.
No.
Well, while we're on the topics of boys, we're gonna introduce our segment Would You Rather.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Amy, would you rather have a roommate with an obnoxious boyfriend or a roommate that is studying all the time?
A roommate that's studying all the time.
Even if they want you, like, be quiet and be like, calm. Like, that's the...
Well, depending. How obnoxious is this boyfriend?
He's pretty obnoxious. He has hardcore ADHD.
Maybe he comes over every day. He's, like, always in the room, like, bothering you. Like,
as long as they're not, like, fucking while I'm trying to sleep. I mean,
which is very common. I feel like you hear about
Yeah, that is really common. I guess give me the heads up and I'll like step on out. But like I pay for that room. I also have no filter, so I have no problem telling somebody off.
Yeah, true.
So I'd probably deal with the obnoxious boyfriend and then eventually tell him off.
That makes sense. You have the personality where I feel like you can handle that.
Yeah.
Other people be like, I don't know what to do.
No, I would eventually say something.
Yeah, you have to.
All right.
Even the studying one though, I do still say
something. Like, go to the library.
Yeah, get out.
What are you doing here?
We got number 2.
Oh boy.
Sponsored by our Angry Orchard you're chugging over here.
You can't say it's sponsored. It's not sponsored.
It's not actually sponsored.
It's not actually sponsored.
We're not getting paid.
But Angry Orchard you can.
But like hit us up.
Would you rather do a presentation or test hungover?
Oh my gosh. I would rather do a presentation hungover.
Why?
Because a test, you really have to focus. At least, like, with a presentation, you kind of, like, bullshit your way out of it.
Probably wing it.
Yeah, it's really easy. I mean, I wouldn't want to. Let's be honest. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't say this. I won't say what district it's for. I substitute. And I've gone substituting before hungover.
Oh, no way.
And let me tell you something. There is nothing worse than dealing with children when you want to puke in brains.
What age group is that?
So the school is K through 5. But so, like, I've gone hungover before where it's, like, one of those, like, you'll, like, substitute for, like, a certain, like one of the special classes, and you have to deal with all of the ages.
Oh, that sounds rough.
It's rough. But, I mean, it's my fault. I did it to myself.
Yeah, I know. You'd be like, well, gotta go to work now.
Yeah. So, I don't really go out for Thirsty Thursdays anymore.
Thirsty Thursday. If I gotta work tomorrow.
Pretty much.
For our final question, Amy.
Okay.
Would you rather in class...
Excuse me. I don't know if you guys heard that. I burped.
Would you rather...
Just continue.
Quif
Oh my
or
Okay.
have your period in class?
Like, get your period in class?
Oh, yeah. You're wearing, like, pretty light...
White pants.
Now, I'm questioning, is this queef loud?
Yes.
It's pretty loud.
So loud.
Your professor is teaching, and all of a sudden
Well,
he
how
goes...
would anybody know it was a queef? It would just sound like a fart. No one knows. You're the only person who knows.
Well, you made the queef face.
There's a queef face?
Right there, you just made it.
What's a queef face?
Nobody knows.
I have. Wait. Oh no, I'm not gonna get into that right now.
So you have in class.
No, not in class. I was
That's
actually
fucking
okay.
fun.
So the other day, my boyfriend now, Kyle. Hi, baby. The other day, he walked me out to my car, and we were having a conversation. I laughed, and I accidentally queefed.
And for all...
And wait, and he kept talking.
Did he hear it?
I thought he heard it, so I told him, "Oh my gosh, I just farted." And then he was like, "Wait, you did? I didn't even notice." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Should've
I was
just
like,
let it go.
"Well, by the way, it was a queef."
Just in case you were wondering.
So, are you a queefer or...
Okay. It depends. The whole thing with the period. Am I wearing, like, white pants and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
my
it's gonna be
gosh.
noticeable.
It's
I'd
visual.
rather queef. Who gives a fuck? Everybody farts.
And now for our freshmen, what is the definition of queefing?
If you don't know what the definition of queefing is, you need to go back to middle school.
Well, we got some males on here. We got some guys.
Dumb people.
All right. It's when you accidentally, the fart travels from the back of the crack. You know, girls have a long crack.
I feel like that's not even the right definition.
I feel like, isn't that what it is? You can actually fart out of like, a vagina hole.
I'm pretty sure it's just air. Air.
Dylan, did you
Dylan
fart?
just farted.
I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting...
Was that a queef?
I didn't do anything.
No, I think it's just air. I don't think...
You can't fart. Can you fart out of your, like,
No, I
vagina
mean,
hole?
like, if you were, like, sitting open...
I thought it was just a fart that travels from the back to the front.
I don't
Gas gets let out.
I don't think your anus
Gas-
is connected to that.
All right,
No,
time out.
I'm not. But it's all still like.
I'll settle it.
We don't have like a what's it called, a taint, like a guy does, where it just stops.
All right.
Well, it's a whole
It's,
other hole.
it's all one crack.
The
you know?
the queef or vaginal fart. It's simply the
Just
noise
look up the
Yes, he
that
does. Google.
air makes when it's being pushed out of the vagina as a result of blah blah.
It is being pushed out of the vagina.
Correct.
But
it
it's
is.
air.
It's air.
Well, I mean, isn't that what a fart is?
It's not oxygen.
Well,
it's air.
Oh, it doesn't have smell to it.
I
Yeah,
might.
that's what I meant.
Well, it depends on what girl you are.
I mean,
if you're fishy, maybe you can't help it. Not that I am. I'm just saying.
All right. So, and that was our segment, FYI.
end it. Stop it there.
So, your education major, we briefly touched on.
I was an education major.
All right. Well, you did that for the majority of your college experience.
Tried to, but okay.
Did it require a lot of work?
I only really took education classes my freshman year, and even then it was just more of like an introduction to it, where you had to get like, that's another thing, I spent all that money on like fingerprinting, and I did take some of the praxis tests.
Oh,
I passed them, by the way. People can't pass those, and I passed them. Still didn't graduate with education.
But you passed those
But I
tests.
passed those tests. They're
So,
expensive.
Yeah, I know.
You fail it by like 1 point, and like you have to
You have to
retake that whole
retake it.
thing.
Well, Lindsay, his sister, took it, I think, a few times.
It's like $200 a test.
Yeah, I know. Those are expensive
They're not
stuff.
cheap.
Yeah.
So, did you ever have to experience an all-nighter?
You know, I've heard people tell me about all-nighters. And I've heard people tell me, you have to take them, they're a part of college, like, you have to do them. Sleep is worth way too fucking much to me.
I agree.
For me to, like, not sleep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The latest I know I would stay up in both colleges, I would give myself a limit. Depending on how early I needed to wake up the next day, most of the time I would stay up to at least 2 o'clock in the morning and then be up at least by like 7 or 8. Which I felt like my minimum of sleep is at least, I mean,
that's gotta be like,
I probably got like 4 hours of sleep when I usually go subbing, but like my minimum is usually like 5. If I can get at least 5 hours of sleep, I'm okay.
I need more than that. That was hard.
You know, as long as I got 5.
That's like roughing it.
Yeah, but I don't know how people could ever do the whole, like, you know, all-nighters thing.
I never did it either, but I think it depends.
I'm not into energy drinks.
No.
I couldn't do that.
I think it depends what kind of major. Like, I knew, like, at our school, architecture is a big thing, and I knew they
Doctor
used to
majors and, like, medical stuff
yeah,
like that.
they do all-nighters, but especially freshman
But after
year.
a point, though, you get to a point where you're just, like, you can't even focus, so what's even the point of staying up all night?
Yeah, I'm not good without, like, sleep either. Like, I'm just gonna
I'm a
gonna
night
be
owl, don't get me wrong,
non-productive.
but not enough for me to, like, study actual stuff.
Yeah, because I
Like, we
won't
can sit
retain
here and,
any
like,
of it.
like, talk all this crap that we want to, but, like, you actually tell me, okay, you have to study like,
it's different.
cells and all, no.
No, I wouldn't
can't do that.
retain any of it.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, no, I've definitely done all-nighters.
You have?
Yeah, it's
Well, I feel
designed.
like design's different. That's what I mean. It
you
depends on what major.
can't pause a product.
Yeah, like they did like projects, like physical things they had to do, and like same with like the architecture majors, they had to do physical projects, whereas like my major and like I assume yours didn't need physical.
Yeah, I mean it's
Like,
kind of
yeah,
hard.
no,
I mean I've
there
definitely had my share. Actually, a couple times. I think the same night I glued my fingers together with super glue. That was actually kind of funny.
That sounds like
actually very stupid.
It was really
that sounds
painful.
like a dumb boy thing.
It was a dumb boy thing, but thank you.
But I can't even lie. So I wear like those fake nails.
Yeah.
I've glued my fingers.
So different reasons, same ending.
Yeah, it was rough. So
Project versus nails.
all right, we got a question.
Okay.
We gotta quit.
What's the funniest thing you have done or experienced in class?
In class?
Yeah.
The funniest thing I was never like that type of person. Like usually I sit there in the corner like quietly. I
Just listen.
show up, do my part.
Making your
Yeah.
parents'
I only
money
ever had
count.
one teacher that really like it was in an anthropology class. I was an anthropology minor, and she called on everybody to talk.
Ooh.
And of course, I'm the one sitting in the corner,
Yeah.
quiet as anything, and she would always call on me. And I always knew, I was like, she's not gonna like my opinion. But the funniest thing I've done in class, I don't know. I mean, it's not really fun. Like, I guess it wasn't until college that like I fell asleep in my first class. That was like in one of those like Bible classes, like Old Testament.
Oh.
Yeah, but it was really interesting. Like, it was really interesting, but I was just so tired. There's something about college life that all of a sudden just hits you as a freshman.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my gosh.
It comes at you all at once.
Yeah, it was a lot. I don't know. I'm not.
Well, then go the other way. What?
Well,
Like,
have you ever given like a funny presentation, or have you ever messed up like homework, or?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't really think it's funny. It's more sad.
That's why. Let's go the other way.
Dylan just bit Maddie's finger for everyone listening.
For anybody who just cared, why? I mean, then let's go the other way, not in class. Like, what's the funniest thing? You could go for either college. Like, what do you think is the funniest thing you've done?
Maybe not the funniest thing that I've done in class, but definitely, like, the funniest thing I've ever seen was just, like, the random outbursts from people. Like, oh my gosh, it was like, there were some students who would just call out on teachers, like, y'all, teacher, like, you can't be doing this stuff, like, random stuff like that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not happening right now. Like, random stuff like that, but it was, like, the funniest thing, because, like, the teachers would give it right back.
Yeah.
Like, they wouldn't just sit there and take it, and I thought that was the funniest part.
That's cool.
My favorite thing is when you can have adults in a class, and it doesn't have to be adult-teacher relationship, it's adults.
Yeah,
They're
it's just
all
like you're
adults.
normal.
When the teachers, like, took account, like, hey, we're all adults,
Mm-hmm.
let's all make jokes. When the teachers would, like, curse, it's like, oh my gosh, the teacher's
I
cursing.
remember thinking that too when I went to college. I was like, this is so weird.
Well, I mean, they didn't do that at my first college, but the second
But
college.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, definitely. And it was
so
the funniest thing. I don't really know. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head right now that, like, something funny I ever did.
I can think of plenty of things.
That I did?
Yeah, of course.
What? You tell me then.
How?
You didn't go to school with me.
I didn't have to go to
school. Do you
school.
mean during college?
During, like, Midland Bar while watching you.
I thought you meant, like, in school, like, actual classes.
Well, yeah, we did in the beginning, but
then
when you were in college,
okay.
like, anything funny.
I think I had a 42-year-old guy.
Shut up.
Oh.
Most of the funny stuff that happened was definitely when I was single. And not that funny stuff doesn't happen now, but during that time of, like, me and my ex broke up and I was single doing my thing, I would drag Dylan out with me to the bars whenever he came home to visit.
Mm-hmm.
And this one time we went out to a bar and it was just him and I was like, dang, I'm not going to get any guy's phone numbers tonight because I'm with my guy best friend. Like, what guy is going to want to talk to me while I'm with a guy? So I walked away to go to the bathroom. I left him by himself. This one is over here making friends with some other dude who's just talking to him about who knows what. I go to the bathroom. I went to go get myself another drink. At the time, I was drinking, like, whiskey a lot. So I went and I ordered, like, some drink, like, on the rocks, whatever. And this man overheard me, and he was like, I'm sorry, did I just hear that the right way? And I was like, what? And he was just like, oh my gosh, you're like the girl of my dreams. I'm like, what? He's like, the way that you look, the drink you just ordered. He's like, can I order you another one? And I was like, yeah, sure. He ended up ordering me a drink. I told him who I was with, told him I was with my friend. I was like, we grew up together, whatever. He comes over, buys Dylan a drink. Okay. Find out he's like 35, 40 years old. Gives me his number. Okay. He walks away, does his own thing. I walk away. At this point, I'm starting to get drunk. And I walked over to another table. I saw this other guy that it was one of those drunk goggle times where, like, the guy was more attractive when I was drunk than he was when I was sober. But I walked over to him. I started talking to him. That other guy saw me, did not like that. Starts texting me. Come over here. What are you doing talking to them? Like, all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? And he walks over and he starts telling the guy that I'm talking to, so you like Amy over here too, right? And he starts, like, arguing with this guy. And I'm like, this is not happening right now. I'm, like, looking at Dylan. And Dylan's, like, laughing the whole time.
That's such Dylan, like to do.
End of the night, at end of the night, it was the second one that I ended up, like, talking to for a little bit. But if he's ever listening, because I did run into him one time, I actually forgot his name. I actually forgot. He's not even from here. He's, like, from, like, Kearney or something. Kearney, whatever the name is. And I saw him one time at, like, a bar near my house. I was like, what are you even doing over here? But I was only talking to him to get Post Malone tickets that he told me he had.
Did you get them?
No, he ended up stopped talking to me right before the concert. Found out he never had the tickets.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes, but Dylan had to drive me home that night. It was a drunken night. It was really bad.
I feel like I remember.
Because I went driving my car originally.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dylan drove my car home.
Well, because Dylan's never one to get, like, drunk. Like,
but have you seen him drunk? It's the
I
funniest
have not
thing.
actually seen him drunk.
In very rare times I've seen him drunk.
Like, I've heard stories of him drunk because it's never, like, with me.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
I'm trying to think what else funny stuff happened while I was in school.
I don't know. I can remember you and that guy slobbering over each other when I looked in the rear mirror.
Let's not bring that up, okay? We have people listening to this that don't want to hear about it.
Well, the past is the past.
Yeah, the past is the past. My present is my present.
So
I don't even remember the guy's name. He's clearly not important.
As we move more into, you know, the dicks, were you a virgin before college?
I was a virgin before college. I actually didn't even have my first kiss until my freshman year of college. I was 18. And I had my...
was it a good kiss or was it a little slobber action?
Okay, so I said, I went to school in Virginia. And this guy was someone that my cousin had, like, hooked me up with. It was one of the guys off the fire department that was down there in Virginia. Had an accent, everything. Had a lifted Blazer truck with tinted windows. Did dip every time he came to pick me up. He was like spitting in his little cup.
Oh, I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what dip is?
No.
When they put the chewing tobacco in
there?
Yeah,
and then they have to spit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the times we had hung out, it was like maybe like the second time we had hung out, he came and he picked me up. And little did he know, this was like I think this was like the second time I had met him. But the first time I had met him, we went for a drive with his friends in the back seat. I actually had a taser with me from one of my roommates. Oh, no, it was pepper spray. Sorry, pepper spray.
Oh.
I had pepper spray with me because I had never met him.
Yeah.
My cousin knew who he was, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't know that I had pepper spray with me just in case.
Damn.
I went prepared. Okay, we're from Jersey. We don't mess.
That's
down in Virginia, they could toss you anywhere and no one would ever find you.
Right.
So,
all that country down there.
Yeah. So, when he took me for a ride, we went just, like, driving around. That's, like, the thing that they did. They went, like, mudding and stuff, you know. Very country-esque. And I was really into, like, the country. I mean, let's be honest. My boyfriend now, too, drives pickup trucks and very, like, rough-ish. So,
you got a type.
I have a type. But this guy, we went down Route 666. Yes.
Whoa.
He was trying to scare me, telling me this scary story. Out of nowhere, like, pulls really quick to the side of the road, turns my face, because I had told him I hadn't had a first kiss yet, turns my face and kisses me, and then just keeps driving. Doesn't say anything afterwards. And I was like, what the hell just happened? I was like, did that just happen? And it wasn't anything. It was literally a tap kiss.
Just like a peck, yeah.
Well, then afterwards, he didn't really, we, like, went and we met up with my cousin. We were, like, hanging out with them. And we were still, like, whatever. And my cousin was like, so, you like him? And I was like, I mean, he's okay. Like, he's good. Like, he's cool. He's like, I think your parents should meet him. Like, this is the second time I've gone out with this kid. Like, no way. Ended up never really hearing from him again. I was like, did I kiss bad or something? Like, I don't
well, you weren't expecting it.
How do you base something off of something you didn't expect in it?
Yeah,
and it's like a kiss. But that was not my first country boy, though.
It wasn't?
I had a long distance thing going on when I was in high school with a kid down in Virginia who had a girlfriend the whole time. And
so you had, like, a thing for Virginia.
I had a thing for country boys. And the guy, I will never forget, this quick story. So funny. I went down for a bring your kid to college for a weekend, whatever, and you got to be like a college student for the whole weekend.
Yeah.
So he was there. He came and he picked me up. We're driving around. He goes, you want an ice cream cone? I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, you want an ice cream cone? I'm like, an ice cream cone? What do you mean ice cream cone? He's like, you want an ice cream cone from Mickey D's? No, I don't want an ice cream. Are you sure? I'll get you an ice cream cone from Mickey D's. And he still got me one. And I told him, don't worry about it. I had it in my hand, and I was so nervous. I'm like, I don't want this. And he was like, all right, if you're not going to eat it, you could just throw it out the window. And I'm like, the what? The window. You want to go hang out at Wally World? What? That was Walmart.
That was Walmart?
Walmart. That was like the
Wally
thing.
World?
They'd all hang out in their pickup trucks at Wally World.
I don't go to
I
Walmart.
need to go back to Jersey.
What?
I don't go there.
Oh my god, I've never heard of
Walmart
such a thing.
has some people, but
that it can be ghetto in some places. Walmart.
let me just say, down south is a different. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. It was a different world.
Yeah.
I love me some Jersey.
Yeah,
I like the mix.
I think the only like south I've been is like Florida, and that's like
That's not
its
really
own
south.
thing.
That's Disney World.
Yeah, I know. It's like
Depending on
touristy.
what part of Florida you've been to.
Yeah.
Northern Florida is like the country part.
Yeah, which I haven't been to, so
Yeah, no, neither have I.
no, but.
So before college, did you ever drink?
I don't know how proud of my parents will be to say this. My dad actually taught me how to drink when I was a kid.
In
Like,
what way?
he wanted to teach me, like, pretty much, like, look, if you're gonna drink, I'd rather you drink with me than go drinking behind my back.
Mm-hmm.
And so he would teach me how to drink, but in a way where, like, you can still handle your liquor and you know when enough is enough.
Okay.
So I learned, though, with the hard stuff, like whiskey,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because that's what, you know, my father, who's 6'5", you know, drank. But I never really drank, like, even in high school or anything. Like, I think I went to one party in high school, and I never drank anything that night because I didn't want, like, my parents to be upset with me. I also was too afraid that cops were going to show up.
Yeah.
Because people started smoking weed outside. I was like, no. I did drink when I was at Liberty, but the one time I ever got drunk was, like, in the dorm, and we had to hide it from the RAs. We used to have people, I had people who lived upstairs with me that I used to hang out with that would smoke weed in their dorms.
Ooh.
And, like, would just cover the doors, like, with, like, towels, like,
Yeah,
damp
to
towels.
like keep in the smoke.
And just smoke by, like, the windows.
Oh my goodness.
And the same girl would go home for me and get, like, bags of, like, alcohol and bring it back for me. And we used to just, like, drink it all the time. And we used to get so drunk. Shout out to Brittany. She is gonna leave us. She knows what that means. It was really funny.
So at Liberty, you admitted to drinking there.
Mm-hmm.
How did people?
Not often though. Not as often I think as most college.
All right,
students.
that's fine.
Just saying.
I'm not calling you an alcoholic.
I am now though.
So
joking.
prior to being 21, obviously, how
Yes.
did you access alcohol?
From people who either could get it when they went home for the weekends, and then you would just give them money for it when they got back. Or I also had family when I was down there. My cousin had offered to get me alcohol down there. I mean, he was like a distant cousin. He had offered. It never ended up happening.
Gotta love family.
But I did have a lot of people down there that were like old enough to get it off campus. It was just more of you didn't want to get caught with it.
Okay. So
That was the fun part, though, the secret.
Well, that's the whole fun part of drinking underage.
But then it got even worse because, like, oh shit, I could get kicked off campus.
Yeah, it's like, that's for real down there, though.
Yeah, I was serious.
Shit.
So college party wise,
Mhm.
was that more of a Liberty thing or a William Patterson thing?
I never went to a party at William Patterson.
I was just about to say, because commuter,
Never.
I don't know.
So you
My sister, though, who commutes at William Patterson, she's a part of a sorority.
Yeah.
So she went to a lot of parties. I personally never did. When I was at Liberty, I did go to a lot of parties. The hockey players were the ones who had the biggest parties.
So
They got shut down by the cops.
how did
multiple
you
times.
get into the Liberty parties?
My roommate, the pageant girl,
Mm-hmm.
her boyfriend was on the wrestling team. So it was mostly if you had it in with some sort of sport,
You can get it.
you could get in.
And you got in for free?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Did the guys have to pay or anything like that? Do you know?
Not that I know of.
Philly has a
I
cover
don't think
charge,
so.
it is interesting.
Yeah, because we've asked, like, I know at our school.
I know some parties
We
do,
have
and I know
to.
like a lot of like clubs and bars do,
Mhm.
but not the ones I had gone to. No, I think they were all just excited the fact that they could all just get out.
Probably.
Yeah, I don't.
Different atmosphere.
I mean,
at
they
school.
could have it. I just don't know about it.
Yeah, true. Most girls, like, get in for free anyway.
Yeah, I
so
didn't have to.
that's nice.
Well, I mean, we've kind of touched on a lot of your relationship stuff, your kissing experience. You know, you obviously
Drunk experience.
had some boys. You know, what's your 21st birthday like?
You know, that was a whole weekend.
Was it?
I made it a whole weekend. So that at the time I was in a relationship with my ex,
Mm-hmm.
and my friend Brittany came up to visit for the weekend. We got drunk that whole weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a guy trying to like talk to her, and I was like, no, I don't play like that. I'm very like defensive,
Mm-hmm.
and like I'm very like security guard. I get you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like that sober too, but clearly somebody was bothering her, and I was like not having it. I'm very vocal. But I was very nervous at that time because at that time, this was like the first time I was ever drinking hard in front of my ex's family. And his family was, I had always seen as like this like picture perfect like Christian family.
Mm-hmm.
They all lived a certain way, whatever it was. Not realizing that technically they all were like that in front of their family, but like kind of like on their own lives. Not that they were like so different, but they didn't live that way all the time.
Yeah.
But like, I was so nervous to get like drunk face in front of them. I did, but definitely not to the point where I am now.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Because now I just don't care.
You just don't care at all?
No. As long as I can like get home safe. I mean, now too, like my boyfriend, I mean, he's like the best person to get drunk with. I get home safe. And I know where I'm going.
And I was going to ask, so like how has your drinks changed from like the very beginning to like now? Because I know you love like tequila, which...
I go through moods now
Yeah.
with alcohol. So I went from drinking whiskey and then I went for like a slight period drinking like fruity drinks.
Oh,
And then I drank whiskey again.
okay.
And then I went into drinking. There was a period I wasn't drinking at all, but like after that, I went into whiskey again. And then I moved into, tequila. Tequila was over this past summer.
Yeah.
I learned my lesson the hard way.
That.
There was a lot of tequila this summer.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend doesn't allow me to drink that anymore.
Oh, I hate
Bad things
tequila.
happen when you drink tequila.
Yeah.
At least an excess amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then, for a while I was into Hennessy.
I remember that
Hennessy
too.
is still some good shit. But now I'm more into Tito's, vodka,
Mhm.
just doing like vodka sodas. It's also like cheaper compared to
Yeah,
like
it is
most
cheaper.
drinks. Now I'm trying to drink, okay, like what can I drink that's cheap?
Yeah.
So now I drink like those. I was into beer for a little bit when I got back from like Ireland last summer, but
Mhm.
I don't know, it's always just changing. Right now,
Like phases.
my moods are changing between Tito's
Yeah.
or wine.
Yeah, and I...
But wine, yeah. I couldn't get my bottle to open.
Yeah, so Amy did bring over a bottle of wine, but we didn't have the proper wine opener to open it tonight. Very disappointed.
She's still drinking, though.
Yeah.
I'm drinking now my Angry Orchard.
Yeah, we'll always love Angry Orchard. So. I feel like this is an awkward question, but going along with during college.
Okay.
And maybe, I guess once you had a boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
what's the craziest place that you've ever, done it? If you're willing to answer. If you're not, then we can skip over it and...
Okay. Honestly. Okay. I don't know if this is, like, TMI or, like, too much information, whatever.
Never too much.
So with my first boyfriend, we never actually, like, did it because we were, like, very strict, Christians and everything, and I didn't want to push it, whatever. It was, like, a couple years into our relationship that we had actually done anything.
Okay.
Done it, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't anything, like, crazy. So that means the crazy places have been after that, and I'm not going to get into that because that's actually current, and I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Okay.
Because I really like this guy, and I don't want my parents to kick him out. We're not going to get into that.
Okay.
So we'll say the back of like a Ford F-150 bed.
No.
No.
We'll leave it as a mystery for our listeners to imagine.
Yeah.
Which is almost
I don't know
worse.
if we want to imagine that, but...
But do what you want.
So we kind of went into it. Do you have any other crazy experiences through college?
Tinder is a dangerous place.
Yes, we touched
Just
on that.
please be notified of that. I think I told you about this one time.
Swipe quickly.
There was this one time, really funny, that some guy, so I was heavier at the time than what I am now, and there was a man who started talking to me and told me that he wanted to take me out on a date to watch me eat. And that he would pay for everything. He wanted to take me to the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, yo, I'll actually go. But
that's weird.
he wanted me to eat like a whole pie of pizza in
Oh
front
my
of him.
goodness.
Sounds romantic.
That's like
And
a
I was
fetish.
like, I can't do that.
No.
I was like, even when I was like really big, I can't do that.
Still did yeah.
And he was like, do you ever get full to the point where you have to like unbuckle your pants? And I'm like, what? No, it's usually why I wear leggings, but like, you sound like you're trying to get me like Thanksgiving fat.
But, yeah.
I mean, everybody gets like that at least one time during the year, but not like on a date.
Daily
It was
basis.
weird. It was weird. And then I actually started asking him, like, yo, are we actually doing this? Because I kind of wanted to go to Cheesecake Factory. It was a free meal! It never happened.
Because that's weird.
The following week I was going into my weight loss surgery, so I was like, yo, can we make this quick?
I need to get this in.
I need to get this feast in.
Schedule
But, no, it didn't happen.
Sounds like there should be a dating app for free food then. I like it. I like where
The
this is going.
stories I could
kind of
tell you
fetish.
just from Tinder. I mean,
Ugh.
Tinder alone. Forget
People
about all those
probably
other
have
dating
so
apps.
many.
Do you want to share it? Do you have any more that are like super good?
Super good.
Super Gucci.
Probably good that I should not be sharing for the public.
Well, some Tinder things can be like really weird.
Raunchy.
Yeah, like you can't even. Those are weird things to recall.
People request like the weirdest things.
Well, that like what you just said is definitely like a fetish thing.
There's that. There's there's like the random people that are like, I never had this happen, but there's people out there like requesting like feet pictures.
I never. Like,
I
I've heard
wish.
of that. That's
I
so
wish
weird.
someone asked me for foot pictures.
You do?
Do you know how much money you can make off of those?
I mean, I guess so.
Do you know how badly? So, okay, I got so desperate to a point. My friend had told me about a sugar daddy finding website, and I went on it. Listen, I'm still struggling, okay? We all got to pay off those college loans.
Mm-hmm.
If some man is willing to pay you just for a little support, just talking to you, what is the big deal? And I told my boyfriend that now. If someone is to ever offer me money just to go on a coffee date with them,
Like, so
you're
be
going to
it.
have to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's not my problem. I'm not going to do anything else. You're going to have to get over it. That was it. And it almost did happen, but then it got a little sketch. The guy wanted, like, too much information, like credit card. It was weird.
Ooh.
I was like, no, let me not. So I left that website. But I was really close to it. Really close to it. The things girls will do for me.
Sounds like your dad's proud.
What?
SugarDaddy.com. All
I
right.
don't know if it was called Sugar Daddy. It was like, I don't remember what it was called.
So if any of you need a sugar daddy, Amy can hook you up.
Yes, I can.
We'll make sure to post that in the bio.
Comment us below and we'll get her.
Tips
guys
on how to pay for
connected.
college.
Yeah, if any of you know or would like to sponsor Amy as a sugar daddy, she is
I'm
open.
still accepting.
She is still accepting.
I have a boyfriend, but I'm still accepting.
She's accepting applications.
So, Amy, what do you wish someone told you before you started college?
On a serious note, be open to changes. I think everybody goes into college, everybody expects you to know what you're going to do for the rest of your life, even in high school.
Yeah.
Going into college. And I think had I been more prepared, I was also like the first in like my siblings, the oldest, to go into college. My older sister did like beauty school, and my younger sister, you know, she got to follow in after me into like actual like university and stuff. And so I feel like no one prepared me for the possibility of you changing your mind. Like, you had heard stories like no one ever really told me about you could change your mind. You could change your plan. Be prepared. Get a degree in something that you could change your mind in.
Yeah.
If I could go back, I wish that I would have gotten like some sort of like business degree or even like a minor or something. But I was so set on, this is what I'm doing the rest of my life. I'm going to be a teacher the rest of my life. And it ended up not happening. And everybody keeps telling me like, oh, well, you could still work for it. And I'm like, but there gets to a point where you have to take the constant rejections as it's just not meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest thing is probably just be open to change and be open to other things that you might like. You know, I have another interest in makeup, so I can maybe make another career out of that.
True.
Just have some type of, be well-rounded and have different things that you're interested in, and just know that whatever you think you have your mindset on, God has a whole other plan for you that I'm still waiting for that plan to be figured out. But, you know, what you think you have already for you is something else out there.
That was very well put, I feel like.
I know. I can go from being so funny and so immature to philosophical.
Thank you.
So,
I'm confused.
But overall, you enjoyed, we'll say, the college journey, and you would do it again.
No, I would not. I will not say I enjoyed it. Sometimes I actually think, wow, did I just waste all that money? It took me 5 years to get a degree. And part of me kind of wants to go back to get my master's, but then a part of me is like, that's a lot more money. I just see dollar signs. And I'm in lots of debt now.
Yeah.
So until maybe one day when I find a job that's worth it, then I'll be like, okay, then that was worth it.
But I mean, everyone's in debt.
Now,
everyone's in debt.
I know.
But you could also like get a job.
I don't have a job at the moment that helps me pay for it. So what I would say is, I work, but not enough.
Yeah.
I would say, I'm sure one day I'll look back at it and be like, yes, I learned a lot from it. I learned a lot during that time. As of right now, being in the position I'm in, I'm like, enough. Because I know people too, like, that didn't go to college and still make good money.
Yeah, same.
And that even went to like technical school. You know what I mean? I feel like now it's becoming more accepted to not have gone to college.
Yeah, I know Dylan says that a lot too. He's like, I don't know, like, you don't always need to go to college nowadays.
For me, I see it as like a scam.
Yeah, or like, that's how he says it too.
I think it's a scam.
Or like trade schools are just as like well-rounded. Like if you know what you want to do.
My mom didn't get to finish college, so growing up, she installed in our brains ever since we were little. You're going to go to college. You're gonna get a master's. You're gonna do this. And I full-heartedly believed that. I thought that was the right thing to do. And I'm not saying my mom was wrong, because I'm sure down in the long run, like, it'll work out. Mm-hmm. But I will say, I don't want to force that one day on my future children, because I feel like, especially nowadays, there's so much more out there that you can do. Mm-hmm. Especially social media is opening so many other platforms for people, that there are so many people who went to college that now work on social media for the rest of their lives.
And don't use their college degree.
And thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have that to lay back on, but even then, it's like...
They don't use it.
You know, so, yeah. I mean, go to college if you can, if you want to, if it works for what you want to do.
Yeah. But
definitely don't feel pressured.
Or just listen to us. We'll tell you all about it.
We'll tell you the ins and outs.
Scholarships.
Yeah, scholarships.
Scholarships really, I mean, they tell you to apply for scholarships and there still ends up being nothing.
Yeah, but like, as many as you can apply to.
Make the government think you're broke.
Yeah. I mean.
Lie.
And so that was Amy. That is our guest today. You can go follow her on her Instagram. I'm sure she'll show you. Oh, she wants to chime in.
I want to tell you.
Let us see her handle, and then you can listen.
If you can handle her.
She also has a makeup page, right?
Yes, that's what I was gonna promote.
Yes.
I do makeup on the side. It's AB Cosmetics. A.B. Cosmetics. I don't post as often as I probably should, but it's just, whenever I get a freelance job, I usually.
So if all of you are in California and need makeup help,
California,
New Jersey.
contact her.
New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania.
She
area,
is flying
Tri-State.
people out to do it. She has the money, if you have not heard. And so that is Amy Bowling. She went to Liberty and William Patterson. She has an interesting story to tell. Don't you agree, Maddie?
I agree. She has some very good advice, I think, that she has brought to the table and to all of our listeners to probably bring to their college experiences. So I think, Amy, you've been a very great guest to have on our show.
You guys make me feel so special.
Yes, you are special.
I want to come back. This was fun.
Yeah.
We'll see if we can accept you. But, I mean...
Get me drunker next time.
I will try.
Even more.
Hopefully we're sponsored.
Get that whiskey in here.
There you go.
So,
Tequila.
Maddie, on a highlight reel, what do you think we've learned from, the last hour with Miss Amy?
I think we've learned a lot. I feel like we've learned that it's okay to change your mind. Transferring is definitely okay. I know personally a bunch of people who have also transferred and gone through a different path that they personally didn't think they would start through and go, like, they started out something different and ended in something completely different. So I feel like change is a big thing that Amy has brought to the table and talked to us about. So definitely don't be afraid of it. College is like a big change for a lot of people, and being on your own for the very first time maybe in your entire life. So like be open to it. You have to be open to new experiences and literally everything. So Amy has definitely brought some insight to that for people.
Definitely agree. I'm Dylan.
I'm Maddie.
This is Accepted, What They Don't Tell You. You can follow us at Accepted Podcast on Instagram, and if you really want to, you can follow Amy as well. But remember, always follow Accepted. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.